So, and Quentin Tarantino, you got to meet when you had a placement in that, didn't you?
Never met Quentin.
Oh, I thought you were invited to watch the...
We did go to the premiere.
Ah.
Yeah. I sat on the same row as him.
That was it.
Yeah. And Brad
Claim to fame.
was there, and
Brad, my mate.
and and Margot was there, and Leo was there, and Quentin was there.
Very cool.
It was a great experience.
Rubbing with the
And it was the first time I'd ever seen it as well, because it was super, super secretive. There's a whole podcast to do with that sync, so I really can't go into it now in terms of the story of how it all happened.
You can give like a very shortened, quick version.
Yeah, so my mate rang me up and said, we need to start playing tennis, and he was in the music industry. We need to get fitter. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. So we started playing tennis and sort of talk a bit of business. And my mate said to me, your music would be great for Quentin Tarantino. You've got such a really eclectic catalogue. Are you in contact with Mary? And I was like, who's Mary? And he said, oh, that's the supervisor. So I was like, okay, I'd love to speak to Mary. So anyway, my mate gave me Mary's contact details, and I sent stuff to Mary. Didn't hear from her. And then I badgered her a little bit, and just like, if you had time to listen to this. And eventually she wrote me this email saying, your stuff's really good. Thank you for pestering me.
Persistent
I'm working on this. Yeah, persistent pays. Working on this movie. And could you send us some stuff? So we sent us some stuff. That movie wasn't that movie. Whiz on a year later, didn't get that first movie at all. Nothing. No, didn't hear anything back from Mary at all. And then we had been looking at stuff that was coming out of Italy with the re-releases on vinyl of all the spaghetti western movies from the 60s and 70s. So I was looking at this stuff going, this is the coolest music ever. And is anyone doing sync with this? Is anyone repping it? And I contacted this company in Rome and said, is anyone repping this? And they said, no. This is a short story, by the way, if everyone's still awake. And so they said no. And I said, well, can I do it? And they said yes. So we started repping all this spaghetti western and also like soft porn soundtracks, Italian cop shows.
Sorry, what?
Nice.
Yeah, the soft porn stuff. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Italian soft porn and all of those movies. They're just got the best soundtracks. They're really
Because it's kind of like elevator music with more sass.
Exactly.
Right? So it kind of like, so that whole pastiche, like tongue-in-cheek thing gets like really well executed with that vibe. Yeah, I
That's
can
right.
totally see, yeah.
It's elevator music with heavy breathing.
Yeah.
And
Any recommendations?
Yeah, I've got a lot.
Send her a plate.
We've got a lot of that still, and it's very cool. So we do a thing called Track of the Week, and we put out stuff, and we started putting with this particular stuff. We started putting it out, every so often, and we would use the original covers, the artwork. These covers, Quentin actually got the original artist to do all the stuff for the movie, so it was quite a weird connection. So obviously Mary was getting our briefs, and a little did we know she was working on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin, and it just so happens that our Track of the Weeks were the stuff that they were wanting, and there was all the movies that he knew and all the composers that he knew, because he's like an encyclopedia with knowledge of Italian movies, and so it was just the universe aligned completely, and that's the only way I can describe it. It was just she saw this Track of the Week, and she literally emailed us and said, can we have this one, and this one? And we said yes, and it was that easy.
Not even 1, 3.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where when you come into the industry, you have a list, don't you? And you say, I'd like to work with Scorsese, I'd like to work with Jim Jarmusch, I'd like to work with Wes Anderson, or Sophia Coppola, whoever it is, and Quentin's definitely on that list.
Oh yeah,
I think pretty much everyone.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have
Worked
to.
with one Scorsese.
Yes. Yeah, and we helped. We did that with you, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
Which was
Yeah.
which was great. So yeah, it's that's the short version of it. There's a lot
Very cool.
more to it in terms of the secrecy of it all was incredible.
Yeah.
How we couldn't talk about it until it was released.